Hi everyone, I'm Cathy Evans from the Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture. I'm here today with my colleague Ollie Overman,
Hi there.
who has just started working with us at TR, and today I'm going to instruct Ollie on how to do an assessment of Botrytis bunch rot going up this particular trial row. This is a row that has been selected for the assessment, and we'll see how that goes up this particular row. Now, as we do this, remember that there are going to be some detailed instructions that are available on the TR website. So this video is really just for you to support. Those instructions are there. If you've got some questions, you can always go there. So the first step in this assessment is knowing how many vines are in the row. Look, this row is probably about 150 metres long, but Ollie and I have worked out that we need to sample about every third vine going up the row, because we're trying to get at least 25 sample vines in order to get that nice graph of the moving window averages. Now, if the row was longer, you might sample every fourth vine or every fifth vine. If the row was shorter, you might sample every second vine. But again, you can go to those detailed instructions and that'll give you hints on how to work that out. So Ollie, let's go and have a look at the first sample vine, and then we'll see how to do the assessment.
Sounds good.
Okay, Ollie, so this is the first sample vine, and the way we determine that is we count in from the end of the row, and so we've got the first trunk, the second trunk, and here is the third trunk. Okay, so we're going to sample the grape bunches between this trunk, the third trunk, and the fourth trunk.
Okay.
So that area between the two trunks, that's our sample vine. That's what we call a vine. So I've just given Ollie a clipboard with the recording sheet where you can put the details of what vine you're at and so on and so forth, and there's spots for 8 bunches on there. Now, it's important that when you write on your recording sheet, it's better if you use pen, not pencil, because pencil can rub off really easily. And it's much easier to do a disease assessment with 2 people.
Sure.
So one person, it's much faster, put it that way. One person actually doing the assessment and calling out the numbers. That makes it easy. So now we're going to sample this vine between the third and the fourth trunk. It's vine number 3, and simply going to reach in, and I need to get 8 bunches in there. It's very arbitrary. Don't overthink this. So Ollie, we're going to now sample 8 grape bunches going from trunk to trunk on this particular sample vine. So it's really, don't overthink this. We're just going to reach into the canopy. Put your hand in. If you touch a bunch, that's the one you're going to assess. Open those leaves up if they're covered, and you can really just look at that one side of the bunch to get your area there. So that's the first one. I'm not trying to purposefully look to pick the next one. I might just put my hand in again. Oh, here's one. And again, I just have to open that up a little bit to look at that area, because we want this to be a quick assessment. So, 1, 2, number 3 might be down here. We might go up again. I might reach through and make sure I'm getting in the inside as well, so we're not just favouring outside bunches. So once we find a mouldy bunch, Ollie, I've just got a picture here to illustrate one. Together we'll take a look at a few bunches, and remembering that there's a standard diagram that we can get to, we can both look at it together and say, well, now what roughly is the area of that bunch that's covered? And I mean, I'm looking at that, and I'd say it's up to 1/3 of that bunch that's mould, so you just give that 30%.
Sure.
Now, it's not a precise science. If you're 5% either way or even 10%, the main thing is when you go up there, you're consistent in the way you score. Okay, we're now at our final sample vine in this row, and this just happens to be the 4th vine from the end of the row. We're not going to go right to the end of the row because, as you know, we're doing every 3rd vine in this row. So if we did every 3rd vine, that would mean we'd end up doing the second last vine, the last vine, and we're purposefully avoiding the 2 end vines so we don't get any edge effects.
And what do we do if we come across a vine and it's not there, or it's looking a bit different to the other vines?
So that's a really good question about missing vines or atypical vines. So what we do there, so we're going in a sequence, you know, vine 3, vine 6, vine 9. So let's say we get to vine number 6,
Yep.
and it's either missing or atypical. What we then do is we'd either go to vine 7 or back to vine 5, just a vine either side. But it's important then that we stand at the vine that we wanted to do and then start our sequence again so that we end up at the next one is vine 9. So we might have had to do vine 7, but then we have to get back into sequence
Yep.
and do vine 9. And the reason for that is we're trying to compare this, let's say this is the test treatment, we're trying to compare that with an equivalent position over in the current practice so that we can compare those graphs. So we want to sort of try and keep that sequence similar.
Sure.
So we've finished this row. Now we're going to walk to row 11. However, we're not just going to walk up here and walk to the top of row 11 and go back down. We actually have to walk back down to the start of row 11 again so that we can keep that sampling in sequence. So shall we walk to row 11 now?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, Ollie, here we are at the start of row 11, which is our next sampling row. We've walked from the top of the hill back down to the bottom, so we're starting in the same position.
Yeah, and I was wondering, how long do you think it takes to do a whole row?
Yeah, so let's say we've got about 25 sample vines in the row. That can take anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes. It really depends. Obviously, it can be slow to start with when you're first doing it. You get faster as you go along. Depends how much disease is there. That, you know, a lot of disease can slow things down. We love it when there's lots of bunches with zero botrytis. That makes it go really quickly.
Yep.
Well, Ollie, that's our lot for today.
Fantastic.
Great assessment going on here. Everyone, again, if you want more information, head over to the TR website where you can get more details on how to do this assessment. And happy trials, everyone.